Hey everyone, welcome back to another Beast of the Mesozoic review. Today we're taking a look at the new Allosaurus Fragilis. Allosaurus is one of the most popular dinosaurs of all time, so it's great to see it finally make its first appearance in BoTM. Now, into getting this figure from Creative Beast Studios, it retails for $130, and I'll leave a link down below in the description if you want to order this figure for yourself. And let's take a quick look at the packaging. You got the Beast of the Mesozoic logo on that window box, and on that beautiful window, we have the Allosaurus front and center. Just absolutely love the blue on the top of the head. Blue on dinosaurs always gets my attention. And over here, we have some beautiful artwork of an Allosaurus taking down a Camptosaurus. Camptosaurus BoTM figure. When please, David. Down here, Allosaurus Fragilis, and then spinning the box around, we do get a nice product shot of the Allosaurus along with some information and the other figures available in this assortment: the albino Zuniceratops, already reviewed the Dilophosaurus and Deinonychus, the melanistic Smilodon, and the Achilobator. I do plan on getting the Achilobator and Zuni. I think my wife's getting me the Achilobator for Christmas, and someone else is probably gonna get me another one for Christmas. Hey, I gotta leave ideas out there for the family. Can't get everything all at once. So enough about the packaging. Let's crack this figure open and take a closer look. So I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what was going on in the first minute and a half of this review. I started this review right when I got the Allosaurus Fragilis figure. At that point, a lot was going on in my life, and I just needed a break from the channel. I thought I initially lost the footage. I kind of have an OCD thing about, reviewing figures on this channel. Like, if it comes in the packaging, I have to review it in the packaging and take it out of the box. So I was very happy last week when I found the lost footage so I can continue this review. And since we are like 8 months after release of this figure, I obviously got the Allosaurus jimmadseni, so we're going to review both of them together. It's really fantastic that Creative Beast Studios gave us both species of Allosaurus, the Cyberzoic Jimmadseni and the BoTM Fragilis. The Fragilis is based off the green iguana, and I'm going to be honest with you all, I'm not a fan of green on dinosaurs. I know it's a very natural color scheme that, a large animal like this would have. I just think green is very boring. However, how this figure is painted is one of my favorite green dinosaurs I have in my collection. Just very natural looking, lots of nice washes and dry brushing to really make that green look nice and natural. You have some nice brown striping along the back and tails, and bright, vibrant blue on the horns and nasal crest on top of the skull, and some nice bright red around the eye to make it really pop. Going over to the Cyberzoic version, it's a much duller color. When David launched Cyberzoic, he said the Cyberzoic figures will have a darker, more duller color scheme versus their BoTM counterparts. You can clearly see that reflected between these two figures. Lots of different shades of brown on the jimmadseni. You have a little bit of gray on the head, and some nice bright red for the nasal crest and horns, and you can clearly see the skull difference between these two Allosaurus species. The difference between these two is jimmadseni is geologically older than Fragilis by like I think a million years or two. It has a much more sleeker and longer skull versus Fragilis. So yeah, it's pretty cool that we have these two species. They look absolutely great displayed next to each other. And for measurements, both these figures, since they are pretty much the same mold besides the head sculpts, are 20 inches long. From the tip of the snout to the tip of the tail, or around 51 centimeters, and about 7 inches tall. To the top of the head are 17.8 centimeters. So Allosaurus's maximum length was around 32 feet long, or 9.7 meters. So I'll put these figures somewhere in the 1/19 scale range, right on the edge of the 1/18 scale that BoTM strives for. And I've seen a few great Allosaurus specimens over the years. The largest one I've seen, I think, is the one at the Carnegie Museum of Natural History. It's around 33 feet long, so that's probably what the size is based off these figures. I've also seen the amazing Allosaurus versus Stegosaurus at the Denver Museum of Natural History, and I've actually seen the Neotype at the Smithsonian. Actually, I think I saw that like a year and a half or 2 years ago. So yeah, definitely seen a few Allosaurus species in my time, all Fragilis. One day I will see a jimmadseni in person. And now let's first take a closer look at the BoTM version, the Allosaurus Fragilis. And looking at that beautiful head sculpt, like I said earlier, Fragilis had a much more robust skull versus jimmadseni, and is beautifully recreated on this figure. Just absolutely love the bright blue on the horns and nasal crest on this figure. It really, really makes this figure pop. You can see the nostril sculpted. The eye is painted yellow with a black pupil, with all that nice red around the orbit and some nice scale detail around there. Going down to the teeth, this figure does have the lip look, which looks absolutely fantastic. Inside the mouth, it's painted a light pink for the tongue and gum tissue. All the teeth are individually painted. They look absolutely great. And then going down to the thick, powerful neck, you have some of that nice green and some cream color for the underside of the throat and belly. Like I said, green's not my favorite on dinosaurs, but it's so well done on this Allosaurus. Just all that brown dry brushing and washes really make it look so nice and natural. Looking at the main body, you have some nice brown stripes all the way down. They continue actually all the way to the very tip of the tail. Going down to the immensely powerful forearms, you can see those giant meat hook claws that Allosaurus is known for, and they are decked out in this beautiful glossy black paint. And I actually do have an Allosaurus hand claw, and you can really see, this is just the bony core. This claw would be much larger in real life, covered in a keratin sheet. What powerful weapons these were. And then going down to the hind legs, you get some more of that nice green and brown dry brushing around the knee joint, and you go down to the legs, they transition to a nice brown color with the claws decked out in glossy black paint. And then going down to the tail, more of that nice green and striping throughout. So yeah, all around, really digging the green color scheme on this figure. It looks absolutely great. And moving on to the Cyberzoic Allosaurus jimmadseni version, let's take a look at that longer, sleeker skull of the species of Allosaurus. It's really well done. Lots of nice washes and dry brushing on the skull. Really makes all that scale detail pop, especially in those grayish brown areas of the inorbital fenestra. You have some nice dark red for the horns and nasal crest. You can see the nostrils nicely sculpted in, eye yellow with a black pupil. You can see the ear canal in the back, and then going to the mouth, the gums are painted a little bit more darker pink than the Fragilis version. Same thing, all the teeth are individually painted and sculpted in. Going down to the neck, nice folds and wrinkles. You can see a couple osteoderms peppered throughout on the neck, and then going down to those powerful forelimbs, same thing, huge meat hook claws on the fearsome arms of Allosaurus. And then going down to the body, we have lots and lots of shades of brown pattern all over the body, and a little bit of just cream coat right in the middle there to break up all that brown. Going to the hind legs, a little bit some maroon colors mixing with all that brown, and that nice dark wash over the legs really makes all those scale details pop around the knee area. And then going down to the hind legs, toe claws are painted in nice glossy black paint. And then going down to the tail, I actually like the pattern on the tail. It looks like the tail's like placed upside down. I do like this reverse pattern I see on the tail here. Very unique look. It makes this figure stand out. And I showed off the Allosaurus claw with the Fragilis. Allosaurus is one of my favorite dinosaurs. Not my favorite, for some reason I have a ton of fossil replicas of Allosaurus in my dinosaur replica collection. I don't know how I end up with so many. In that picture I just showed, I have probably at least 5 or 6 more than that I could not find for that picture. Moving on to accessories, we get the new type of stand that we've been seeing with the last few releases. This is much better than the bases that came with the Tyrannosaurs. This offers, if you use the whole stand, it's a modular system, 3 points of contact versus 1 on most of the Tyrannosaur bases. And I did like the natural look of the Tyrannosaur bases, but that 1 point of contact has just puts a lot of pressure on that one leg, and a lot of my figures have warped over time on that, so I'm eventually going to replace them all with this new modular stand. And of course we get different pairs, 4 pairs of feet with each figure, and this features the new disjointed foot system on here. Before the other Tyrannosaurs, you got like a pair of solid legs and articulated legs. It is much easier to swap out the feet on these newer versions of the figure, and definitely takes up a lot less room. And each figure comes with its own collector card. Here is the Allosaurus Fragilis with some facts on the back. and here is the Cyberzoic artwork. This is going to be the same artwork that comes out on the armor sets, except with the armor added on. I cannot wait for the armor for the Allosaurus. This looks absolutely fantastic. And you can see the card back is vastly different. It features the clan, the tech clan that the Allosaurus jimmadseni belongs to. Moving on to articulation, both these Allosaurus sport the new triple jointed neck, which is a breath of fresh air compared to the older Tyrannosaur figures that just had the hoodie. You can see you get some really nice bend on both those joints. And good news, some of those Tyrannosaur figures are getting upgrade kits in the near future with their Cyberzoic releases. Mouth can open up that wide, and one thing I did notice, the mouth on jimmadseni can open up just slightly wider than it can on Fragilis. I wish most of the figures can open up as wide as jimmadseni, maybe even a little bit wider. It's one minor complaint I've always had about these figures. I feel like the mouth articulation is kind of limited for the way they are sculpted. For the arms, they can swing out that far. Forwards and backwards movements, you get arms can stick out mostly straight, and you get up just under 90 degrees of bend at the elbow, and the wrist can move inwards and outwards, and you do get a nice rotation at the wrist. And for the body, you do get a nice torso cut. You can get the body can swing side to side on that joint, and you do get some upwards and downwards movement on that mid-cut joint. The hind limbs, they can move backwards and forwards, and there's a little bit of a pivot at the hips to help with different posing abilities. Let's get the camera to zoom in on that just a little bit better. At the knees, legs can open up that far, and they only can bend back about that far. That's my other complaint about the articulation on these figures. I would like a mechanism, like a double jointed knee, like something similar we saw in the Hammond Collection T-Rex, or just maybe like a slightly deeper cut in the thighs. I know it will break up the sculpt, and David, this is like a mesh between articulation and being accurate at the same time. But I really wish we can get some more knee articulation out of these figures. I think it'll just be much better for posing. For the ankles, you do have a hinge joint. It allows them to flex up about that far and extend that far. And then going down to the feet, you do get some nice rotation on that little peg that holds the feet in, and you do have that nice disc joint for the hind feet, which is so much better than the ball joint on the older figures, which allows for some nice articulation on those feet. It's just much more fluid than that ball joint, and you really don't have to worry about the feet popping off, because that has a pretty secure peg joint on those disc joints. And for the tail, we have this nice triple jointed tail. At the base, it could get side to side and upwards and downward movement, as well as a little bit of rotation. Next joint, same thing, side to side, up and down. Same thing for the last joint, and the last joint is actually a bendy rubber wire tail, which allows for more articulation and posing possibilities. Moving on with comparisons, here it is with the Mattel Lost World Rolling Tembo. He's a 3 3/4 inch figure. All three 3 1/4 inch figures are 1/18 scale, so they scale perfectly with the BoTM/Cyberzoic line. Next up, here's a group shot of some other Creative Beast Studio figures. The Cyberzoic Allosaurus just really hammers home what a big raptor species, dromaeosaur species this was. I mean, just look at the size of this thing compared next to the Allosaurus. It's about half its size. Then we have the albino, adorable Zuniceratops, and the amazing Dilophosaurus. And we're also getting a Cyberzoic version with a different head crest. Cannot wait for that to come out. Next up is the Hammond Collection Allosaurus, and if you're an Allosaurus fan, late last year, you were all eating good. We got both of the Creative Beast Studio offerings and then the Mattel Hammond Collection version. All three of them scale beautifully together, and the coolest part is, the Hammond Collection is 1/18 scale, so all these figures mix and match together, and I think that just adds to the play value between both these lines. And speaking of the Hammond Collection being very compatible with Creative Beast Studios, here's the new Hammond Collection Stegosaurus, and I think all three of these look absolutely fantastic in it. together. They scale really, really well, and it's a good placeholder while we wait for the actual BoTM Stegosaurus, which is supposed to be coming out in the next few months, and I absolutely cannot wait for that figure. It looks massive and huge, and just cannot wait to recreate the Denver fighting dinosaur display with those two figures, because it's one of my favorite fossil mounts of all time. And let's just do a couple older BoTM figures. The amazing Gorgosaurus, which was so popular it got a re-release, and the very, very underrated Xenoceratops. Next up is the Wonder Artistic Model wooden Allosaurus kit. Most of their kits, skeleton kits, are around 1/18 scale, so this actually complements the Creative Beast Studios Allosaurus. It makes a wonderful display option on your shelf. And lastly, let's end this with the greatest predator of all time, Tyrannosaurus Rex. And this is the Kickstarter exclusive Dino Riders version, which I will not lie is my absolute favorite dinosaur figure in my entire collection. Grew up with Dino Riders, and to have a figure that just mimics that green and yellow T-Rex is just the absolute best for me. The T-Rex, is one of the first BoTM, Tyrannosaur figures, and you can see that it suffers from, the lack of improvements that these newer figures have. Hopefully with it is happening with Cyberzoic. It's got better neck articulation and feet articulation. But yeah, it just shows you what a powerhouse T-Rex was compared to Allosaurus. So, final thoughts on Creative Beast Studios Cyberzoic Allosaurus jimmadseni and Beast of the Mesozoic Allosaurus Fragilis. These are two absolutely fantastic figures of a very, very popular dinosaur species. They look great displayed on the shelf together. You can really see the difference between the skull shape of Fragilis versus jimmadseni, plus the two very contrasting color patterns used. Articulation is great. Love the new display stand. Those 3 points of contact, if you're using the whole stand, really helps with the stability of the figures, and they're just really, really fun to play around with. And plus the added compatibility of scaling with the Hammond collection line just adds to the value of these figures. Like I said at the beginning of the review, these figures retail around $130 a piece. The link is down below if you want to order either one of these figures from Creative Beast Studios, and probably in a couple more months we'll have the armor for the Cyberzoic figure, which I'll be reviewing when that comes in. Really, really looking forward to those. I have some weird Transformers crossover fan fiction I'm going to do with some photography on my Instagram channel. So that will do it for the review. I got the Holland Good Shintongosaurus coming in, so be on the lookout for that one in the near future. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously, and it's greatly appreciated. I'll see you guys for the next one.